man, this is an absolute crypto bloodbath. Look at the charts, guys. I woke up this morning, opened up the charts, and I'm sorry to say it's not looking good. In this video, I'm going to share with you what is the risk here in crypto, how much more downside is there, why are we dumping, and I'll try to give you guys some green shoots of optimism as well. Lots to get into, guys. Smash all the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. If you've woken up here today, open up your portfolio. You may just want to go straight to bed because it's an absolute bloodbath and reminds those of you who are a little bit less experienced how quickly this crypto market can change, how quickly the state of your portfolio can change, and why it's so important, even now, to be trimming those profits if you're looking at profits which are really important to you, which are profits you cannot afford to lose right now. You need to be thinking about this. I mean, right now, all we're reacting to is a wick from Bitcoin from as high as 109 down to where we're at now, which is 94, right? That is 13% on Bitcoin. That is nothing. Okay, and I'm not saying that for you not to feel something. You will feel something. Me as an experienced investor trader, I woke up today and I'm like, this is not good. 4 days in a row of red, right? I mean, if we go back 4 days ago, 2.23% on Bitcoin. Then 3 days ago, 1.75. Then we had nearly 3% yesterday. 3.5% here today. It's not looking good, right? It's not a good start to the week, but we were expecting it. Now, for those who aren't familiar with what's going on, this is the whole global markets, right? It's not just here in our little crypto bubble. Oh no, we made a huge mistake for being in crypto. No. This is the global markets reacting to Trump's trade wars, right? For those who aren't familiar, Trump issued a 25% tariff on Mexico, 25% on Canada, 10% on China. But then what happened yesterday was Trudeau from Canada hit back. He clapped back with his own 25% on $155 billion worth of US goods, right? So this is now turning into the early innings of what many investors are starting to price in could be a trade war. A trade war is not good for anybody, guys. It's not good. Now, from a political perspective, you can make arguments why Trump is doing it. You've heard Trump's rationale that, these countries are not supporting US, they're not buying anything from us, they owe us a lot of money, or they're allowing fentanyl across the border. Okay, fine. But from an investor's point of view, they're pricing this in and they're going, this is not good. And so when you start to ladder all that in, it means one thing. One thing, just to summarize, I'm not going to sit here and do a deep breakdown because you don't need it. The one thing you need to understand is risk rotates off. What's our indicator of risk? The dollar index. Go check out what the dollar index is doing. This exact thing which we needed to go in this direction where I drew my arrow, we needed it to come to the downside, right? Has done the exact opposite. It's broken out and it's heading for a higher high, right? It wants to break above 110. We're at 109.5 right now here on the dollar index. This is not good. When this climbs, risk rotates off. When this goes higher, you don't see good times for crypto. You don't see good time for traditional markets. You don't see good time for tech stocks. It's just not a good time, right? Every time it's got rejected on the long time frame, I'm on the weekly chart right now, we've seen good periods in crypto. We need this to come to the downside. So this is not a good period of time. The dollar is getting stronger. Dollar gets stronger in times of need because people look at it and go, well, what is the best thing we have right now? It's the dollar. It still is. Whilst Bitcoin is still, gaining its maturity and continuing to become an option, the dollar, in terms of all the fiat currencies, is the best. And so the dollar index continues to climb as people start to index more in dollar at times of uncertainty. Same for Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin dominance, which was initially to start the week, right? It was, we started to see a couple of weeks here which were positive for altcoins, these two red candlesticks. The last 3 days have been very, very strong for the dollar, for Bitcoin dominance. Again, why? Because net, people rotate more to Bitcoin than altcoins. Bitcoin takes less of a hit than altcoins. I mean, Bitcoin down 3.5% here today, but altcoins are decimated. I mean, pull out the crypto bubbles and take a look. I mean, it's just pain everywhere you look, which is why you're feeling it right now. Because the majority of you over-index on these altcoins. Now, even if you didn't over-index, even if you did what I said, which is, having 50% in Bitcoin, having some Ethereum, that does soften the blow, but your portfolio is still much down from where it was just days or a week ago, right? Of course, when you got things like Aave down 20%, you've got Sui down 17%, your meme coins like Floki 27% down, Pepe 21% down, Radium 16% down. I mean, you've got some horrible big bubbles here. Gala 25% down, Cosmos Atom 24% down. I mean, you're going to feel it, right? When a quarter of their market cap is just getting chucked out, 20% almost down here for Sonic. It's interesting how Fartcoin's got a bit of a green day. What else has a green day? We've got Dexa as well. Okay, so you're going to feel it, right? It's just natural. Now, we need to understand what's going to happen here, right? What's going to happen next? Now, before I do that, I want to put this into perspective. Now, if you're new in crypto, there's no doubt you're feeling this right now. I mean, I'm even feeling this. I woke up and I just did not want to look at my portfolio. I wanted to close it and just go for a walk, do some other bits. It's not a good time, right? Yesterday's daily candlestick closed below the EMA ribbon. That's a Sunday candlestick. Sometimes you can take it with a pinch of salt, but today is confirming that, right? Today has confirmed the breakdown here when the Asian markets opened up through the night. We've still got the US to open up hours from now after you've watched this video. You've got the UK market still not open. I'm in Dubai time, so you've got a couple of hours left before the UK opens, then another 4 or so hours before America opens. Again, don't be surprised to see this continue to have volatility, continue to exacerbate. We've lost the EMA ribbon, right? So anyone looking for, short-term hope that we were going to go and do this and continue up on our exponential move, no. It's not like it was here where we did this and up we went. No, we've got some work to do. The structure's broken down. We've curled over. It's a double top. And we're going to the downside, right? The structure is there. Now, in order for us to bounce, we need something important. We've got some support here, right? If you look at the candlestick closes from these levels, 92.5 is an important level of support. You can also see from this wicking candle already today that we're starting to see people start to buy the dip here. But the question is, how long is that going to last, right? It's small support compared to probably what we need, given the scale of what's going on with Trump and his tariffs. Now, the problem we have is there is a bit of support here at the bottom of the wedge, right? If you come to the bottom of this big accumulation pattern, you can often use that as support at around that 85 level. But once you clear that, the support really sits at your previous all-time high, which I've been barking on about. I know it's been boring because everybody's been excited or distracted by the Bitcoin all-time high at 109,000 or whatever we hit. The 73,000 roughly, the 73.5K or just shy of 74K, which we hit here, right, in March of 2024. When we broke through here in November after the election, we never came back to retest it. So we had very difficult resistance here, which we failed to backtest, right? Like get a good backtest down here before we then continue our journey up. So that's the real strong level of support I've got is this line around that 72, 73, call it even 74,000 mark. That's the range I'm looking for between where my cursor is and this yellow line. That's where real support lies. Of course, you've got smaller support here as well. 92.5, like I shared with you, coming down to 85 is support as well. You've got your 200 exponential moving average, this blue colored line sitting at 83. There's various supports there. But are they going to be big enough for the situation we have in hand? That's why I'm sharing with you the major support, which is the previous all-time high. Losing that, things get really ugly. You can even make arguments for a bear market and the end of this cycle, blah, blah, blah. But let's not just get into that just yet. Let's just be patient. And by the way, this comes from someone that's experienced Bitcoin going 64,000 down to 29, up towards 69, down to 15.5, and I didn't sell a single Satoshi. So you're in safe hands here. So make sure you subscribe. I won't leave you. In fact, I prefer making content in the tough times because guess what? All those fake people who were there in the good times stopped making videos to help you guys in these times. So I'll make sure I double down to help you guys through these tough times because that's what I've done for years. I've made videos day after day after day. Even if they're bearish and nobody wants to listen to them, I'll tell you the truth because I have nothing to gain from this, right? I just want to share my research with you guys. So that's important here. You can see where that structure lies. Now, what is the weekly view on this? Let's jump over to the weekly candle. When you look at this as somebody with a bit of a keen eye, you're like, hang on, what are we panicking about? Right? That daily candle didn't look great, but when we look at the weekly chart, you're like, yeah, but come on, what are we complaining about? I mean, that was positive, negative, positive. We had a calling off here, and then we went up again, and we've had a couple of calling off. Like, is there reason to panic that Bitcoin's fallen, 8 to 9% over a 2-week period? No, right? I mean, you'd be right to say that. No. I mean, particularly where this is not even sharply down. I mean, this is not, what it's not done is this, right? It's kind of gone up, and it's just doing this now, right? But the weekly EMA ribbon comes in at 88. So you got important support from 88. The weekly EMA ribbon perfectly, if you look at the bottom of the EMA ribbon, look at what level it ties in with. That horizontal I just explained to you, right? From the previous all-time high. So this is important support for me. 88 all the way down to 74. We've got to hold this weekly EMA ribbon. As we pull back into this area, I want to buy more and more of the dip. So I'm nibbling now as we start to come into this area, and I'll buy heavier and heavier and heavier the further we get into the EMA ribbon, because the probability that we bounce here is quite high. The probability that we bounce from EMA ribbon on the weekly chart is high, and so that's where I would be betting on buying the dip. I'm not buying the dip heavy now because it's like catching a falling knife. You guys have heard that saying. It's very hard to know when UK market and US market and tomorrow and as the trade war progresses, how much more we're going to tank. It could happen quite quickly, right? I mean, if we take, let me just see if I can take the measured move from here down to the first level of the EMA ribbon, you got another 6.5%. Going into the middle of the EMA ribbon is a 14% pullback, and getting to the bottom of that pullback into the previous all-time high, you're looking at a good 20 to 23% pullback, which is more from where we're at, right? Now, if you take that overall, it's quite a big pullback. If I take that from the peak, which we just touched, all the way down to that level, it's a 34% pullback. That is big even for crypto standards, and that will hurt. That will create a lot of fear in the market. It'll create a lot of uncertainty. People will be panic selling, but that's exactly where I want to buy. I don't want to buy when everyone else is buying at 109. No, thank you. I will buy at the 35% discount because everybody will be panicking. No problem. I'll sit here and I'll wait and I'll buy the dip, not just on Bitcoin, but on my favorite altcoins. Because if altcoins like Ethereum are down 10% today, 10% today, and it was lower on the wick of the candle, horrible. It fell down to 2100 in Ethereum, guys. 2100. Ethereum's nearly falling as much as a lower cap Griffin. What's going on here? Ethereum is getting wrecked. I mean, I'm not sleeping on Ethereum. I need to be buying more dip on Ethereum. This is going to tear people's faces, to be honest, Ethereum, once it gets picking up. That's my view on it. Cardano down 13%. Oh man, it's an absolute bloodbath, isn't it, guys? Absolute bloodbath. Only shining star here. You got Om outperforming BTC by 10% here on the day, which is interesting to see. I mean, up 6%, $5.23. You've got Hyperliquid moving at 4% as well. Mask is up 7.3%. A few just random outliers moving today, but otherwise, it's a broad-based bloodbath. Now, there is a little bit of saving grace. Like I said, really on the weekly chart, is there any reason to panic that we're coming in and testing our EMA ribbon? No, but the worry is more from a macro factor that this trade war could get worse if people don't back down. We need people to back down. We need this to come to an end. Now, what's the quickest resolution we can get? The quickest resolution we could get is that these countries that Trump decides to tariff comes back across the table, apologizes, signs a trade deal with him to the extent of however many $1 billion he wants signing, and off to the races we go, right? We're back on rally mode, off we go, we forget about all this trade war, and we're done. That's what Trump wants, right? Trump is doing this aggressive approach because he just wants to get what he wants, right? He wants to sign a trade deal. He wants to feel like, he's got a win under his belt. And so that's the quickest way out. The longest way out is if there's stubbornness here, right? If there's stubbornness here and there's a trade war and tit for tat, because now that Canada's given their own 25% tariff back on US goods, guess what? Trump's going to have to come back and slap them again. And then Canada will slap back. And then again, and then that's not going to be good for markets. So don't be surprised to see this kind of extend out for a little bit longer if we don't get that immediate fix, which I just described. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let me know in the comments, guys, how are you feeling? Quite a deflating couple of days here on crypto. It's part of the game. I've been here. I've seen it. It's nothing new. If you're investing in crypto, you chose, nobody forced you, you chose to invest in the most volatile asset class known to man. But there's a reason you did, right? You surely can't get the good without taking some bad, right? Volatile means up and down, but that's what allows you opportunities to get gains. When you got asset classes like Ethereum down 10% in a day, that's what allows you to get the upside gains as well. Take advantage. If you're looking to buy the dip, be patient and do it like I just explained. If you're thinking about panic selling, just give it a second thought. Go study Bitcoin historically, right? Just as of 2 weeks ago, every single person who had ever bought Bitcoin in the history of Bitcoin had all been up in the green. Be patient. Don't be a panic seller, because I guarantee you when the stats come out in a couple of days, which I will share with you on this channel, you will find that this was a distribution period. It was a distribution period where weak hands sold to strong hands. Retail investors sold to the big whales and the big institutions. Don't be one of those statistics. Don't be one of those statistics who gets liquidated only to give your money to the big player when we could be setting up for another explosive leg on Bitcoin once we finish this slight pullback, which we're well overdue, as you can see on the charts, right? I mean, we never had that real pullback after this big move from 73, 74,000. We never came back and retraced. Think about it. Don't be over leveraged. Don't be over margined. Keep things simple. Keep things in spot. That's what gives you that true holding power to make sure you don't get shaken out. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay strong out there. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Smash up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.